welcome, okay? What this class is who wants to be the one to save a life? Who wants to be the one to save a life, okay? Starting with benefits. The service officers are not always there. Not always there, right?
Right.
So, what we want to do is we want to make sure you guys and girls have the points of contact of what to do to start until we can get in place to help. Okay? That's what this class is. If a veteran walks into your post and asks for help, what do you do? That's, now, what do you do? Okay, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to be doing scenarios. All right? Service officers, I asked them to pick a couple people in here. You don't know who you are. They're going to take you outside, talk 3 minutes, 4 minutes about a scenario. You're going to come in, the veterans can come in, sit right here, and ask for help. We, as a team, are going to come up with a solution to help the veteran. Okay? We're going to do it once without using the materials to see what we know and how we're going to do it. Then we're going to do it with the materials. The service officer is going to help. Okay? Our goal here is to where if a veteran walks into your post, that they're not just blown off and say, oh, by the way, the service officer's on vacation. Good luck, see you in a month. We don't want that. Okay? We want to make it to where we sit down, listen to the veteran, find out what's going on. All right? If a homeless, let's say if a widow comes in and asks for help, the best battle buddy they can have is an auxiliary member. Literally, an auxiliary member is the best battle buddy that that widow can have for a couple weeks until she figured out, get her mind straight. My wife, she's many, many times where she had to step up and be a battle buddy for that auxiliary widow for a while. That's what we are. We're leaders. We help. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to start off with the chaplain and do a prayer, please.
Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, I come to the table on your ordained ministers. I ask you, Lord, to please look down upon the group of people that are here in front of me. These are your children, Lord, and they're gathered today for a purpose that is phenomenal and totally in line with what your Son, Jesus Christ, preached, helping one another for your brothers and sisters. The individuals here today have stepped out to be able to listen to a seminar that's going to not only help them, but it's going to help their brothers and sisters of the American Legion. And Lord, it's important because we know that people that are dying today through suicide from the military that are retired or active or reserves. So Lord, I'm going to ask you to please smile upon them. But also I'm going to ask you to send the Holy Spirit down. Have the Holy Spirit wrap his arms around them. Have the Holy Spirit walk with them. And Lord, if they encounter somebody that's in need, have the Holy Spirit walk with them, give them the strength, the fortitude, the determination, and the Christian mindset to be the one that helps them, to be the one that guides them in the right direction, and to be the one that could ultimately have saved their life in accordance with your will. Now, Lord, I'm going to bless them with your authority. I bless you in the name of God the Father, our Lord, his Son, Jesus Christ, who is our intercessor, and the Holy Spirit who reigns on earth till Jesus comes again. Amen.
Amen.
One thing I want to say before Larry starts is this. I know the majority of chaplains in the Legion are not licensed and ordained, which means they cannot do any type of counseling. I'm licensed and ordained as a pastor and chaplain, all of them, which means by the state of Florida's laws, because I'm also an attorney, we can do actual counseling. If we look at it at a level where they come to here, right, and they got to go to the next level, that's what we have to do. So if you're a chaplain, understand, unless you're ordained and licensed, you can't do that. And chaplains can do a lot for you. And this young lady right here can attest to how much we can do, correct?
Absolutely.
Prayer, visits, numerous things. For the grace of God, her husband is alive today. But we went to the funeral home together to get his funeral set. And through the grace of God, he's alive through prayer, constant prayer. But we were together every step of the way, right?
Right.
And also in the hospital with him. So we can do a tremendous amount. Don't hesitate to call on your chaplain. Now, a regular chaplain that's not ordained and licensed can still do what we did, okay? But in order to do the counseling part, it has to be licensed and ordained. Right there?
Right? So, us as leaders of the American Legion, I call it peer-to-peer. Not counseling, but peer-to-peer. There's a big difference there, okay? So make sure that we never say we're counseling, we're doing peer-to-peer. Veterans helping veterans. Or auxiliary helping veterans, or auxiliary helping auxiliary, okay? That's what we are, peer-to-peer. Am I right, Chaplain?
Absolutely.
Okay? That covers us legally. All right? So I want to make sure, I'm going to show these things. I want to make sure everybody's got all this stuff, okay? Everybody got one of these cards?
One or two.
That's fine. That's fine, okay? If there's extra, that's great, okay? Bartender, you make sure you follow along, okay? All right. Grab a whole package. There you go. Take
Larry,
it
she's
here.
been paying attention the whole time.
A magnet. Everybody got a magnet? Hang up on the refrigerator there, okay? Yep, there you go. Of course, the gun lock. All right, you can use this lock for anything you want, okay? It'll be the one little sticker. Be the one little sticker. This right here is the national version of this card right here. Okay? It's the national version. It's the same thing. All right? Project Vet Relief. Is there anybody in here that has not heard of Project Vet Relief? Please. You have to, okay? So please, I want to make sure that everybody here knows everything we're talking about. Okay? Because there's been some scenarios where I referred a veteran to a post, asked about Project Vet Relief, and the post goes, I've never heard of Project Vet Relief. Alright? So we want to make sure that us leaders, we know this stuff inside and out. Please. And pass it on to all your officers and your whole post, your Legion Auxiliary sons, riders, all of them. This one right here. We have 16 kids a day nationally committing suicide. One of the scenarios we're going to do today is going to be covering how to handle that. The veteran walks in here and says, I got my child is talking about committing suicide, what do you do? Okay? So we're going over the warning signs, the phone numbers to call, and how to get help. That gentleman right there, you can call that guy right there. So we got to make sure everybody gets your number, Pastor Pete, please. Okay? We all know we're going to go upstairs, downstairs eventually, right? This one right here. We have widows coming in. I guarantee you got widows coming in here all the time saying, hey, I need help. This booklet right here is a checklist inside of it of everything that widow needs to have when that veteran passes away. Take that checklist and make sure that your members, your auxiliary members, have that checklist ready to go so that way when something happens, they ain't got to hunt for stuff. All right, makes life a lot easier. Commanders, please post this somewhere in your post. So when we send a veteran to your post and says, hey, for Project Vet Relief, you got the number right there. You ain't got to dig for it. Of course, we got the balls on the tables too. Okay? I'm going to show a quick video of why we're doing this. Okay? I deal with this stuff every day. Ed deals with this stuff every day. This video is very, very touching. The video is 5 Finger Death Punch, Wrong Side of Heaven. This video shows what the veterans are going through on the streets. And what we're going to do is during the class, we'll be covering how to handle that. These scenarios, building our way to that. Good. like the video said, while we're watching that video, a veteran committed suicide somewhere. We got to stop that. That video is 8 years old. The numbers have doubled since then. The VA says it's 17.5 veterans a day committing suicide. But what they're not telling you is they only count the ones enrolled in the VA, which is only 10% of the veterans. We got to fight this. That's our battle buddies. They're doing that. And our sisters. This class is going to help. Why? Because we can't do it all. We need your help. And I know that lady right there helps a lot. I know that guy right there helps a lot. And I know every one of you helps a lot. If we can save one life, it's worth it. Teresa.
Could you come with me, please? We want to do a skip.
Put her to work.
Okay, like I said, this is role playing. All right? So don't be surprised if one of the service officers say, hey, come out with me, I'm going to have you play a veteran. Huh? Yeah.
All the videos and everything you always talk about veterans. Do we have any statistics breaking out about the women vets?
Yes.
Their percentages?
Yes.
all this?
I haven't found a video on that yet. I'm looking for it, but I found the numbers. Okay. The female veterans commit about 3/4 of the suicides. Okay. That high.
They're afraid to ask for help.
Because they're afraid to ask for help. A lot of them have MST, military sexual trauma. Okay? So, that's why one of the scenarios we're going to do that scenario. We're going to do a scenario where a female veteran is homeless, has got MST, and has got a child that's suicidal. What are we going to do?
Can you define MST?
Military sexual trauma.
Okay, I thought you said multiple.
Well, military sexual trauma. Meaning that probably, something happened. Rape
Yeah,
or whatever,
sure.
okay? All right? So, I had a scenario 6 months ago where I had a call. A female veteran needed help. I referred her somewhere. It didn't work out. I want to prevent that. I want to make it to where I can refer a veteran to any post and get help for that veteran.
That sexual trauma for females is humongous in the military, believe it or not. I'm also a chaplain for a university. I can't tell you the number of female students that have been sexually abused. And it's extremely, it shocked me when I started doing the counseling.
And it ain't just the females that military sexual trauma. I had a male Vietnam veteran that had gotten raped while he was in service by 5 guys.
I've got one I'm dealing with right now. Now,
So, this class, we're going to be covering all that, okay? But I want to do a couple of the benefits side of the house first and work our way up to the hardest one, which is that one right there, the child suicidal and MST. But we're going to work together as a team. I want to see how you guys react first, and then the service officer is going to step in and say, hey, great, let's add this, let's add that, let's add this. Okay? These guys are great. I know. I've worked with them. But I want to see how you guys react first, so that way we can add to the scenario and help. Make sense?
Larry?
Yes.
I have found one of the best places to be is at the lounge.
Mm-hmm.
My service officer has prevented at least 2.
So I asked, when I advertised this, I asked for the Legion, Auxiliary Sons, Riders, and the bartenders.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you why.
They hear everything.
They hear
Why is it
everything
your
that's
role?
going on. Those
They cause
bartenders
most of
are
it.
the first ones that hear everything. And I'm not saying for you to do the service officer's job. What I'm saying is if you hear something, hey commander, I got a veteran over here who needs help. Can you help him out?
or the best referral service.
Or the auxiliary president, she might be the only one here. Hey, can you help this veteran out or this widow out? That's what this class is. I want to make sure that where a veteran walks in or a widow walks in, we can help. Until the service officers get to see the veteran, he might be on vacation or I might be on vacation, gone for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, right.
can't do that.
So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to eliminate, you know what I'm saying, somebody could turn around, oh, by the way, here's a phone number, good luck, see you later. Like the shirt says, listen, spend a little time with that veteran or the widow. Be the one. So I'm going to say this. Go ahead and tell me your scenario.
Okay, so I walked into the lounge, start talking to whoever's sitting around, right? Bartender, whatever. My husband died. I don't know what to do. I've got to cut my income in half. I'm going to have to, I don't know where I can live. I'm going to have to give up where I'm living, where we live together, and find a bridge to live under. We're so broke, I can't even pay to have them cremated. And it just happened so suddenly. I thought he was fine. He got his pacemaker, now he just dropped dead. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Where do I go first? Does the VA pay for burial? I don't know. I'm so confused.
Who's going to want to step up? I need somebody to step up. Help her.
Yeah, I would recommend that we get the president of the auxiliary
Okay.
involved initially.
Okay. Pat, is there an auxiliary president in here?
Talk to
If
me.
there's not.
Talk to me.
Okay, if not, I'd call
What do
you.
you say?
That one, huh?
I'd say, first of all, you need to take really deep breaths. We're gonna be
I
able
can't.
to.
You're two working on it together now. So now you two are working on it together.
Oh, we are?
Yes.
Okay.
She got the
I'll
initial,
follow your
she
lead.
screened it, she understood it. Now she's in it, okay, but she's working the bar. So she can help a little bit, but she's working the bar.
Somebody else involved trying to help out as far as, okay, are you the president of the auxiliary, would you be able to help out?
Sure.
Okay, I want to introduce you to.
Nice to meet you. My name's Amber.
Hey, Amber.
Hi.
Do you have any family around? Kids? Brothers, sisters?
I have a sister, but she's, yeah.
Do you have?
I just, do I have any what?
Do you have any neighbors?
No, no, well, we don't talk to any of our neighbors. It was just the two of us. It was just the two of us, and now I'm alone. Don't know what to do.
Well, hang on. I'll call the resource officer and get us some assistance.
We're gonna.
Excuse me, my name's Ed, I'm the service officer here.
There we go.
Hi.
Would like, do you have your arrangements for the burial yet?
No.
Okay, what we need to do is get a call over to the VA, and do you have this DD 214?
No,
It's a
but
short paper.
the post should, because he was better, but it's,
No, we
I
can't,
don't-
we can't assume that anybody has one.
I don't have it.
Okay, so we can get the application out, and you gotta fill it out, and we'll mail it into St. Louis, and they'll send it. Now, Tim, did you know if veteran's homeless or he just died, there's an expedited number to the VA to get the DD 214. But if you're still alive, it's gonna take a little bit longer. You know, there's no guarantee. One of the things that Mary mentioned, and Tom does it as well, is that my phone number is at the cash register, or was in the past. And if he needs something, he'll call me directly. But our bartenders, gosh, they're calling me all the time. And the adjutant calls me all the time. And so we get referrals from the Salvation Army, PVA, and
well, they should be here. The bartender should be here. There should be more auxiliary, more people at this thing. And now I don't know what to do. There's nobody here to help me.
All right, first of all, what you're gonna also have to do is get all the paperwork in order. So we've got a list for you in order to help you out to get all this paperwork, to get the ball rolling up there.
to-do list.
I can do most of this.
Okay.
So can,
And then they've got veteran service
Yeah.
officers that will be able
Yeah.
to help you get the rest of it.
He's already called me.
Okay.
Okay, listen up. We just, guess what? You all, this, everybody now. Okay, so if you have a help solution, a helping hand, please jump in. Okay? You start, she's heard it first, she passed it on to you. People are, now we can bring everybody in.
Can I jump
So
in
we
for
can
a
all come in
second?
and do
Yes.
some different things.
Yeah.
So
I was just gonna say that, you know, this stuff right here, she ain't ready for this yet.
This seems
So I was
overwhelming
gonna
to
say,
watch her
hey,
face.
hey sister, how you doing? My name's Ed. Hey, hey, can we get you something to drink?
Yes.
Yeah, what can we get?
Tequila.
Double shot, Patron.
It's always better than what can we get you a glass of water?
My name is Ed, and I think.
That's an open question. Can we get you something to drink?
We'll get to the list a little bit. As a matter of fact, I could probably get somebody that goes home and helps you find information.
Oh my God, it would be so great.
And what was your name?
My name's Amber.
And Amber could probably, you know, tell us who could help you out, and we can get somebody to get over and find this information for you. We've got this list. We're gonna get you a little drink here, something just help you relax. A big drink.
Big drink.
Big drink, help you relax, and make sure that, hey, make sure we have somebody too that could just hang out with her the whole time that we're doing this. And we've probably got people that can continue to help you out. It's not just one person. So,
Do we have an auxiliary member that could be a battle buddy with her for a week or so, to help her through
I've
this?
never heard of battle buddy term before. So.
Yeah, battle buddy.
I'm a Navy guy.
Oh, okay.
What he's doing is
Yeah,
very
you're
good.
doing a good
But
job.
you said you were gonna try and get somebody to be with her, right?
Yeah,
That's
all
where
the
your chaplain
time.
comes in.
Shelby,
All the
you're my
time.
friend.
The chaplain
Should
will sit
you
with
step
her.
up? I feel so alone, and people are calling me, and they're not, but I feel so alone.
Yeah, I find that.
And it's like, where are my friends?
Yeah, I
They're,
find that we
it's
don't have
uncomfortable,
to
so they're not coming around.
Chaplain's great.
Teresa.
The chaplain will sit with her, but the chaplain will also try to divert her mindset and calm her down, and try to bring some prayer into it, which usually puts people in another space. The chaplain's gonna sit with her for hours, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that way you've got somebody there that knows how to talk to them, work with them, bring them down. I did a lot of stuff with police officers getting in shootings, and they freak out until you bring them down. So that's the key, somebody can sit there with them until you can get an auxiliary or somebody else. Because here's the thing, people have great meaning, they mean well, but sometimes they say the wrong thing. And instead of bringing them down, it shoots straight up.
Sure.
Exactly.
Okay, so here's my question. This is all great, and I got this, and I'm not knocking this part. But she just said she's at risk of becoming homeless, so what are we doing there?
I figure we'll get to that.
We'll get to it, we'll get to
Okay,
it.
okay.
Let's take care of this issue first.
Okay.
My friend just got here, because you called her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling her.
In your communities, there's a woman resource center, there's the Salvation Army, and also the Goodwill, so can provide emergency transitional housing. And then, once we
Say that
establish,
again.
once we establish an immediate need for housing, then we can move on to transitional housing. So the first thing is to get you stabilized, and we might have to dip into the post-vet relief fund, put you in a hotel for a couple days.
Our post,
Try to vet relief.
We have a vet relief at 24. I can't speak for everybody.
still be kicking me in the ass.
And then we have to vet. We'll get the family together, the auxiliary, the wife, and the sons, and we talk about it. And we talk about how this person got in the situation, and then we'll work on the solution.
Can I jump in for a second again?
Yeah.
One of the important things is the first thing you teach the chaplain, the presence of presence. Sometimes somebody just being with them makes a difference. But here's the thing that you gotta remember that most of anything, every person grieves differently. My area of expertise is grief and loss. That's my area of expertise. So whoever the friend is has to remember, you're not judging their reaction by your own. You're letting them be who they are. If they want to scream, let them scream. If they want to cry, let them cry. If they want to throw something on the floor, let them do it. Don't let them hurt themselves or destroy their house. But don't ever try to control that expression of emotion. Because if they do, all it does is it goes down. Then you see somebody using sex, drugs, alcohol, spending money in order to feel better. And then when it's all over, guess what? Now they got one more disaster to deal with. So whoever's going to be, that's why I say chaplain. This is what we're trained in. Okay, we know trigger words not to use. We know how to be present sometimes. Just shut your mouth. Because sometimes you don't know what to say. And you let them talk. And until you feel it out. But whoever's going to be there needs to understand. They grieve the way they grieve. I had a case once where I was working with a lady, husband died, they were like married for 60 years, and they were like wrapped together like one. Well, a very close friend of hers would see her every once in a while, and she took her out on a golf cart to go golfing. And of course, this woman was still breathing heavy. Now, she met the woman, she said, you know, it's been 7 months, you gotta stop this nonsense now. It threw her in such a tailspin, I had to refer her to a psychologist and then a psychiatrist. That just unraveled her. She meant well, like stop, live life. No, when she was ready, that's when it happens. It's like somebody on drugs. You can drag them to the treatment center, but unless they want to get better, it ain't happening. So just remember that whoever you do put there, make sure that person knows that that grief is individualistic.
Here's what, I want to say something because I've worked with trauma, especially with students. I spent 30 years working with suicidal students.
There you go.
When they're coming to you, they have nobody. Nobody. So when you
That's
say,
grief.
do you have a brother or a sister to call?
No.
You don't know what happens. So
If
what
I did,
that's
I
doing
would've
is
called
like,
by now.
yeah, don't do that. And I didn't mean that to be derogatory, but that's how they'll take it. It's like, are you kidding me? You're kidding me. They'll get mad inside,
That's
depending
what
on what
I hear,
intelligence
'cause
they
They
have.
don't have anybody.
They don't have anybody, so it
Exactly.
comes across as condescending, like it devalues them. And even though you're not devaluing them, because they've been devalued in their own families, somehow it comes across as that way. So the best thing you can do when they're in there, like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do.
Everyone's friends.
I see you, and I hear you, and I'm not gonna leave. You got everybody here. We're gonna make sure.
Oh, that's so,
Okay.
yes, thank
All
you
right,
so
so
much.
there are so many people here that can help. I'm only one person, but I see you. I see you. You're home. You're okay. We got you.
Hands are going up. Okay, good.
Okay, I got a question, you need to slow down a little bit. When you started off with, when I said about housing, there's this, Goodwill, Salvation Army, I missed the first two. What was the women thing you said?
One woman resource center. Most communities have it.
But is that for women, not for everybody else?
But you have to understand when they're in that state, they're not gonna listen to you because I was traumatized myself and I can understand. You can promise me $1 million and I'm gonna sit on a unicorn and I'm gonna have all kinds of cake. I'm not gonna believe you. Even though you're telling me I'm safe, I don't believe you. This man's had to pull me out of the pits of hell twice. When I'm in that situation and I'm desperate, especially if your husband dies, that's not grief, that's trauma. They're traumatized. And a lot of people don't understand when they're dealing with trauma, you can sit there, like I said, promise anything. So when you're saying that stuff, what you have to do is regulate them immediately. And depending on how bad they are, depends on whether or not you call him right away.
And don't ever promise anything you can't deliver.
Never.
Oh, I
I
hate
as a
that.
hostage
Yes.
negotiator.
I promise.
Forget it.
It drives me absolutely crazy.
Instead
You
of-
cannot make a promise.
Never.
No,
Because
just.
you don't know what's gonna happen.
Instead of a promise, I see you, I hear you,
Yep.
we're gonna work this out, you're not alone. If I would have been told that, I would have spent so many hours feeling so much better, but they were trying to help me and they re-traumatized me really bad to the point where I was dealing with suicidal ideation and they were trying to help me.
That's
And
why
they
it's
didn't have
important,
anything
like
bad
you
about
said,
it, yeah.
You gotta have the person that knows what they're saying. Because good intention is great, but that one wrong word, I learned that as a chaplain, I was a hostage negotiator, I was a crisis negotiator. Okay, you learn that one word can send the whole thing down the tubes. So it's great you get somebody immediately there, but the person has to be trained. If they're not, they can inadvertently say something that's just gonna send them off the edge and it's over.
So I'm gonna say this, okay? How many auxiliary members do you have? Approximately.
48, 12, 14, 15 that show up.
Okay. Well, you get, so that's 15 you can count on, pretty much, right? So you got 15 battle buddies that can help her out. Am I right? Maybe. Maybe.
Will they make me soup?
Stop by, say hello, bring her something to eat.
What I'm saying is, rally the
They
troops.
buy me soup at Panera?
Rally the troops. Bring them together. Because I tell you right now, I don't know all the answers. He doesn't know all the answers. But if you rally the troops, at least make her feel what?
Seen, heard, and acknowledged.
Make
Because
her feel that.
'Cause-
overwhelmed with that.
Because there was time, because to be honest, I lost my daughter in a stillbirth, and it was traumatic. And I blame, I couldn't find anybody to help with therapy. They didn't have much with that with stillbirth. They don't. And I was like to the point where I was dealing with suicidal ideation that I would fantasize driving my motorcycle head on into a semi, because nobody would miss me.
I fantasize running into a tornado during the
Right.
Marvin or whatever his name is.
Milton.
Milton.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
run
that
in
way
there
nobody can
and
blame me
get
for being a
brought
piece of
up
crap,
the
and I
whole
can
thing.
die, and then everything will be great.
Then I won't be in pain anymore.
Yeah.
You know what chaplains
Just
throw
let
in
the
there?
pain go away.
What we throw in there is God made you. He made you in his image. And guess what? You are special. There's only one of you. And God loves you, we love you, and we will work with you, and we even try to get them to pray together. And that shows them, not only do we recognize them, but he does. Yes.
So what if they don't want a chaplain, they're not believers?
Then you
Yeah.
walk away.
So I would ask if you, hey,
Oh, we always do. No, chaplains never walk into a situation without saying, Larry, how do I usually get there? You need to get to the ICU right now.
so if you came up, she's not a believer, and you came up dressed like that, she ain't gonna want to talk to you.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm Arabic.
That's fine. Time out on that. Chaplains are trained
Yes.
to deal with every single
Yeah.
religion. Now, if she don't want a chaplain, we never force ourselves.
Right.
We'll be there. And normally, that man right there, would you like a chaplain? Yes, I do. We have one of our students in the hospital, brain injury. I didn't go. They called me. Family wants a chaplain. Me right there. We never, ever, ever, ever force ourselves on anyone. And in fact, when I talk to you, I'll say, what is your religion?
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because then I revert back to what the beliefs of that religion. You see? So, the thing is, that's when they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do from there.
And
So-
to be, I want to finish in on that because this is a religious thing that I think is very important.
Mhm.
Because depending on different religions, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, there's a totally different belief system. If you're Arabic and if you have like Muslim beliefs, there's going to be confliction. And if you're putting him in the scenario, he's trained to be able to say, I accept you for whatever you are, you
Exactly. I'm not
accept
going to
me.
try to force. I'm non-denominational,
Right.
which means I can do every single religion. I'm going to tell her to pray to who her God is. Not
See,
mine, hers.
And then but if I don't know that that's what he's doing, you go, hey, let me talk to our chaplain, especially people like me, because when I grew up, they called me a sand nigger all my life, because I was Arabic. That was religious people. So that's why I didn't trust people like him. So you don't know what that person went through. And then if I'm hearing traumatized, and you have this, because that's what happened to me too, because I had this Baptist preacher that represented how I was abused as a kid growing up, sitting there telling me, you can pray to baby Jesus and he's going to take care of you.
See, you don't say
That's
that.
condescending
You
to
don't
people
say that.
like that. You don't say that.
Yes,
you
here I
know?
am.
And that's how I was raised. So, and if you notice how he always says things, I trusted him after the very first Project Vet Relief, because I know he's non-denominational, the way he approaches everybody, and not everybody has those best intentions. And some people will go off like that. If
And
it's
you'd
a
be
different
surprised
religion.
how many people, when you walk up with this on, smile pops right on their face.
And then there's other ones that don't.
Right.
Right.
But we
Okay?
never
But to ask,
force a religion.
Do you mind,
Well,
and
that's
it's
what
not
I'm
one
worried
chaplain,
about.
okay, then it's somebody else.
Yeah,
Somebody else.
we'll find
And we
somebody
have
else.
to work a different map.
In that conversation,
Yeah,
most of our Legion chaplains are not dressed like this.
right.
And I'm not knocking.
Right.
What I'm
Not
saying
Because
is-
they're not ordained, that's why.
He's
No,
ordained.
My ordained chaplain don't dress like that.
Because they're not ordained. They can't.
He is ordained.
Okay.
So,
What I'm saying, majority of them don't dress like that, so you wouldn't have that initial shock, you know what I'm talking about earlier? With him, if you're not a believer, that would be a shock, but mine is just in a suit or whatever, he walks up, and he's a Southern, so, Southern Baptist.
Can I address that?
Yeah,
We're trained secularly too, which means if you're atheist, now I'm going to counsel.
you don't know that.
Because
Right.
I'm a trained counselor, so I'm not going to go religion side.
Yeah,
Okay?
okay.
You
I'm
gotta
gonna
be
go-
careful 'cause you
I'm
can
gonna
be
go,
spiritual
let's
bypass.
talk.
Right.
How do you feel right now? What are you experiencing?
Yeah,
What is it that you need?
Took my husband
See,
away,
I mean,
gave
that's-
me this pain.
so we don't throw
that I have
religion
every
in.
single day.
So you would have a totally non-religious
Talk to me about it.
conversation?
God will make it
I'd
better.
have a totally
If they-
non-religious
Right, and
conversation.
refer to whatever.
Okay, that's what.
Because you gotta be careful, because it can come across as
No, no, I
spiritual
know, I know.
bypassing,
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of
and
them don't.
they'll go under.
I'm an old fart and I'm traditional.
All right, let's continue on.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's a question or an action. The key thing here first is the stabilizer. At what point would you say?
Where the hell is that tequila?
Listen.
Bartender.
I'm serious. I am way up here. I'm so wound up. And I just want to just jump off a bridge. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. I don't know.
One of the other things you do
Give me
is
the
breathing
tequila
exercises.
and bring me down first.
You have them breathe.
Here's where
It
my
brings
my
them
thought
down.
was.
Okay.
You
As
don't
you were-
talk loud, you talk low.
Okay.
As
All
you
that
work the
brings them down.
stabilizer, and you're saying, look, I realize the situation, you're very overwhelmed at this point.
Yeah.
What we need to do is, together, we're going to sit down and prioritize. Things may not be as bad as you see. We will go back with you, and we will look at your finances.
Stop right there, you just made a major mistake.
Yep.
They're not as bad as you think. Guess what? You're not her. Don't ever say, I know how you feel.
Okay,
Don't ever, not unless you're a woman her age and her situation who just lost. See, these are the key words
Right.
that you typically.
We don't know.
I've got 6 degrees in this area. Okay? So I'm telling you, it's the little, and I was a hostage negotiator. One little word, next thing you hear is boom. Either they killed themselves or they killed somebody. That's why it's so important.
I
If
think
you're
first
not
of all,
trained-
somebody needs to come to my house, get all the guns out of it.
It depends on, if you're that emotional.
Yes.
Right, then we would call law enforcement, right, and we would talk to you, right? But the key is the words. One little word, like, let's do, no, you don't.
I don't even know where they are.
You don't
'cause I
really
told
know
them to
yet.
hide
You
them.
don't know how she, you don't know what she's
So
talking
that,
about. Everything you said was great up until then.
They got dogs that
Understand,
smell
I
it.
guess my thought, but it's a good point, I hadn't.
Well, that's what we're here. We're here to learn.
Is to say, look, we need to sit down and prioritize your situation, and look at your finances, and look at your housing situation, and proceed from there. We have these options that we can work to help you.
Here's the problem again. I had a case when I was a homicide detective. Woman was married 60 years. Husband did everything.
Yep.
He died. He was a burglary. Luckily, I got the guy. But he was a burglar that killed him. She didn't know where nothing was. She didn't know anything. So here's the thing. She just lost her husband. She's freaking out. And you want her to sit down and prioritize.
Okay.
I figured,
Can I point out something?
I figured it's gonna be a while before we get to there.
You got it.
Yeah,
You
first
got
off,
it.
we gotta, the
Get
way
her
I
down, like
approach
you
it,
said before. Bring her down.
the way I
Yeah,
approach
no, I
it
understand that's a priority.
is when you get to this person, Teresa's having the worst day of her life.
Exactly.
And that's the way I have to look at it.
Exactly.
So,
Let's get back to the trauma part.
Can I get some insight real quick? When you're dealing with boomers, boomer women were never taught how to handle their own
that's the
finances.
very end of the boomer thing.
They weren't taught that because
He has
they
no
were
idea
taught
what
that
it
women were
is.
to be able to take care of their husbands, and I know so many of my mom's friends that are in that same scenario. Whereas your Gen Xers, they are more independent, they have that. So when you're talking with like boomers, they would say things like, I work for. A Gen Xer would say, I work at. Whereas a millennial would say, well, I'm currently with. There's a different mindset with each generation. So when you're working with somebody that's older, you gotta realize women didn't have credit cards until 72. We couldn't have our own credit card. So we haven't had none of this financial intelligence.
Seriously?
Yes. We couldn't even have bank accounts until the 90s. Yeah, look it up. We couldn't have credit cards until 70s. We couldn't have our own bank account. That's why there's a big difference when you're looking at like boomers. They didn't have the ability to take over and learn because the guy always took care of it because they had the priority of the accounts.
You know what's interesting too? I was involved in a shooting with, not me, but a female officer. It took me 3 hours. So I had to play chaplain and attorney. 3 hours to bring her down to the point where she could tell me what happened in the shooting so I could step into my lawyer role. It took me that long to get her. She was dry vomiting on the scene, everything. She freaked out. Turned out to be a perfectly good shooting. But there was no way I was gonna say, okay, we need to walk through the steps. Here she is, half catatonic, screaming, yelling, crying. I had to bring her down after 3 hours. Finally, we got to the point where she was able to now make that list. Okay,
Okay.
show me what happened. Tell me. But until then, I could have been talking to the wall.
I am at the post, and I'm hysterical. He's getting me a couple tequilas, but do you,
Yes.
a couple doubles.
It's on your tab.
Don't forget the lime and
Where do
salt.
we go to few?
But, so do you leave me there? Do you?
No.
I mean,
Never,
are
never leave.
No.
I
No,
disrupting
now.
the Legion?
No.
I bring you
Out.
bring you into
What do you
another
feel
room,
like?
another area,
Do you wanna go
because
to his
you may get to a
Swear to
point,
God.
you may get to a point and say,
No.
you know what? He's dead, I can't live like this, and try to kill yourself. You never leave the person alone, never. And if they start to talk like that, that's when you get somebody that really knows what they're doing, and if you have to Baker Act them, you Baker Act them. Because you're
But do you
better
wanna
off
get
saving
me out of
them.
the post?
I'm sorry?
No, I wanna keep you in the.
No, you stay at the post.
You wanna keep me in the post?
Yes,
You know why?
until the proper help.
Because
can
now
come.
you have-
But here
you
comes
have-
all the customers and here.
Well,
I
you
am.
don't leave you right in the middle of everything.
You go to the corner
You
of the
bring
room.
with
Let's
someone.
try to another room or a corner,
Well,
and
yeah.
ask her where she feels comfortable.
That's what
Yeah.
I was saying, where do
Yeah,
you wanna
I
go?
just
You wanna
wanna
stay
be
here, do you wanna go to your
comfortable.
house, where do
Yeah.
you want, what do you feel like doing?
Yeah.
One of the points that Charlie made, and I go back to trauma, is that the trained person knows the grief process. The first thing that's gonna happen is shock. And that's where the trauma begins. And now you gotta go through the stages of, to the seven, and I'm not gonna go through the stages, you can look them up on Google, stages of grief. If you understand that, then you know what not to say. Because so those things will trigger the individual.
You wanna know what's worse? When she's not screaming and yelling.
Yeah, because now they're dissociating and giving up.
There you go.
And when you talk about finances, I'm gonna tell you right now, my husband had to go with me to a lot of therapy because of, when it comes to finances, when I'm in that mode, you tell me, let's look at your finances, I think I'm gonna die, I'm a monster, I'm a faint, Larry will actually have to tell me, you're not going anywhere. You're staying right here, because I got that overwhelmed, because I didn't know how to do my finances. Because when I lost my daughter, I went medical bankruptcy, and then everything went to, so now it took me 5 years just to look up a checking account. I had to have, if I didn't have my husband helping me at the time. So if you have this woman who is grieving, her husband just died and he was her lighthouse, she doesn't know what the finances are, now she's afraid she's gonna be in a shelter and die. That's what's that is the underlying fear. I'm in a shelter, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. I can't take care of myself, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die.
Well, I know I can take
She's got a great point. You're thinking emotionally, you're not thinking rationally. So emotionally, she may say, I can't live, I can't support myself, my husband's gone, this, I'm done.
But you don't wanna
That's
say that.
illuminating, they do.
No, I'm saying, she
Right,
may be
right.
thinking that, when they're quiet. They think that now, if they're expressing it, that's good, because now you can talk to them about it. But if they're not saying a word, that's when you gotta be worried. Because you may think, well, no, I'm okay, and you let them go, and almost an hour later, she just killed herself.
I'm fine. Just leave me
Okay.
alone. I'm fine.
So
I
it's
just
7
want to
o'clock
go
at
and
night,
stay
we're
there.
closing, and she's still not all there. What do we do with her?
Call a chaplain.
Well, you
call
say,
somebody-
sorry, we're closed, you gotta go home.
Call a chaplain, call somebody from the auxiliary, you gotta call somebody that can sit with her, go with her, be with her. And that's why we're chaplains, you call us, we go. We'll go where she is. Or if that's the case, you got nobody,
I'm gonna tell you this, okay?
call the police.
He knows, she knows. Everybody, most people know in here, my phone's open 24 hours.
Epsico now.
If I have to go to the post and sit down with a veteran all night long, I will do it. I will call a commander, he said, okay, you got it. Whatever we gotta do to help that auxiliary member or their widow, you know what I'm saying? Don't kick them out, say, oh, we're closing. See, that's the worst thing we can do.
I'll see you tomorrow morning, how about?
Yeah, that's the worst thing we can do, is get somebody to spend a few hours with her, even if you gotta change shifts.
Or get somebody from their family.
Well, if there's no
Call
family
somebody from
around.
their family to have
Just
somebody.
say
We are
it's
family.
Yeah.
We're
I
family.
mean, let's say you say you don't have nobody that has the ability that moment to go with her. Maybe she's got a cousin, an aunt, an uncle, a brother, a sister, somebody. You'd never want to let them go home alone. Never. And if they're that disturbed, right, and you don't want to just send anybody with them, you got to call the police and see if they can do an interview with them to determine, because they're trained to determine whether or not this could possibly be a Baker Act or not.
If they have to leave the post, just say, hey, You say you come with me, we'll go down the street and have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, there you go, right there.
There, yeah, that.
Coffee.
Because when I'm in that mode, and from what other trauma people I've talked to, when I'm in that mode, all I want to just be is seen, and that I'm not a monster, and that it's gonna be okay. And sometimes you have to yell it louder than the trauma, because I can't hear you.
So has anybody heard of the Soldier's Creed? There's a line in it that says, we will never leave a fallen comrade behind. You know about that, right? We'll never leave you behind. So I get that call at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm there. I'm not gonna leave him behind. Whatever it takes. You might have to call somebody else. Call a commander, say, hey, I've been with this guy, I'm falling asleep, can you come and take over for a while? That's what we do, that's what we do as leaders. We are leaders of this post.
But the people that are not here, the people that are more likely the ones that are gonna be there when we walk into that post, they're not here, and because they don't go above and beyond like we do, because
So you're not role playing right now, you're hard to tell.
She likes to get out.
I know.
She's funny.
She's auditioning right now, she's gonna have a.
I'm with you now.
That- Okay, go ahead.
well, what do you need it for anyway?
On your DD 214, there are several ways to get it. It's done by mailing, or you go on archives.gov, fill it all out, tell them that you need it right away, or I got the 800 number here, you can call them. Is 800, excuse me, 314-801-0800. You can call them. Tell them what you need it for, death of family, and you need DD 214 so we get the ball rolling for you.
What I've done, every one of my kids, my grown kids, have a copy of my DD 214.
I would go Teresa, you know,
I
your
sent
husband's
it to
social
him.
security number.
Get the DD
Because they're good.
214s on there.
I got my
Yeah,
first
I mean-
husband's social, but not this one.
But what I'm
37
saying is,
years and
what
she
information does
social.
Teresa have that would allow her to get the,
I have everything, I have
So-
everything
We don't know.
written down,
She
but
might not
it's
know that.
at my house, and it's in my desk, and I just can't
so we can help
look,
with that.
I can't
find it right now.
I can't even think about looking for it.
Yeah,
So,
we're not
what
ready
he's
to
talking
do
about,
that.
the DD 214,
That might be tomorrow.
that's our job, the service officer's
Or
job.
next week.
You guys are doing this, those first initial, when she walks in, asking for help when we're not there. Once you guys get her and hear her story and start helping her, then you contact us so we come in and then help.
I'd rather
Okay.
shove
Yes,
it.
sir.
One, if you need an expedited DD 214,
Right.
Huh?
if you need an expedited DD 214, call your congressman.
Yeah,
They get right to archives.
Right.
And especially if you have a death, they'll get that for you probably quicker.
You could just tell me, wait a minute, I'm gonna call Congressman. We'll take
So-
care of this, I promise.
let the service officers handle that part, okay? You guys and girls are just that first initial wave. They walk in and ask them for help. That's what we're trying to accomplish right now. Getting somebody to spend a little time with her and listen, get her calm. Then, as that time's going on, you call the chaplain, if you haven't called the chaplain already, and then the service officer. So now we have the chaplain and the service officer stepping in and helping you guys. Make sense?
But a week later, you haven't seen me, because I have not showed up in a week.
Oh, we haven't
Stay-
left you though.
They
Yeah,
left you though.
You haven't left me?
They're staying in your spirit.
because they're re-elaborating to you, we see you, we see you, we hear you, you're seen, and we're not gonna stop until you're taken care of.
That's,
I find it hard
That's
to
kind
believe.
But if, as they're working together,
sorry.
yeah, but that's what they're all doing, that's technically, we're all working together until you're taken care of.
all right,
That's-
can I ask a big question here?
Yeah.
So Larry,
Mm-hmm.
purpose of this training, are we training people for different posts here? Like, I haven't met anybody,
Okay.
except your.
I'm Tracy, I'm from 325.
So what I'm saying is, so that we know that we can call
Yes.
that person, here's what I'm trying to say is, be the one at my post. Post 90, Katie Coral.
You're in the wrong district, man.
It don't matter, it don't matter, it don't matter.
District 13, I'm trying, actually, Maureen Flower wants
Yes.
to be the District 13, be the one, I'm still working, so.
Okay.
But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I think that as a person, what I'm trying to get out of this is that I can go back to my post and say, hey, I want to meet with the auxiliary, and
Yes.
meet with
Yes.
the riders,
Yes.
and we need to, because if I come to Teresa right now, post 90, I don't think that work.
But you might be at my post 325, and you could ask the bartender to call somebody.
Right.
We're trying to
So
create.
right
That's
now-
why Larry's doing this
Well,
training.
that's what we're doing now. That's what we're doing now.
That's why
We're trying
Larry's
to
doing
figure out
this
here.
training.
Right now, I do not have this at my post. I see that it's
So then
missing.
what you do is you
You
take
get
it
him
back
to
your
come
post
and
do
do
the same
this
thing.
at your
And
post.
this is what you and I are gonna talk about.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is right now, I don't have this network built.
Okay.
So it's gonna be me sitting with Teresa and my wife. I'll call my wife, she's a member of the auxiliary, and then she can go back with her and
Right.
and thank her my wife's healthcare.
So,
she
I can tell you right
knows how
now,
to do this,
my
but
wife-
there's nobody else.
My wife, at least 10 times that I know of, I get the call that we're gonna walk in the post. Hon, I need you to go. She goes down there. I'm your battle buddy now until we get it straightened out. My wife, however long as it takes, that's her battle buddy. And she's with her, even if she has to spend her night at her house, she will do that. She has done that.
Once you establish that, you get into a social contract. Anytime you feel, anxious again, call me and I'll come over.
See, you made a great point, and you made a great example. You're not from this post, are you?
What's that?
You're not from this post, right?
No.
But you're here,
Oh, yeah.
you're here for this training, right?
Well, I drove an hour and 10 minutes to be here for this
Wow,
because.
we drove an
Because
hour.
what I see at my post is right now, I don't even think there's anybody that calls a friend and says, hey,
Well, let me finish to
You know what's going
add
on?
on to what you did.
yeah,
He's here for this reason, right?
yeah.
So ask Larry when he can come to your post right now.
Yeah, we're already trying to set this up.
Yeah.
We're already trying to
So
set
that
this
would be, so but if you didn't come here today, would you know about this? What's going on?
up. I knew about this from Laureen and Mike Flower.
But
They
to the
said
same
the
degree?
thing. I've been trying to look up stuff.
What I'm saying, would you know to the same degree that you're experiencing right now? No, because you're going through the training. So this is what he's trying to do, have people come to these and set the training up.
Yeah, I would say that I do know part of this. I was an EMT for a long time.
Good.
So that's why you get to this
Yeah.
person's level. You
Now-
don't stand up and look at her. There's certain
Oh,
things on
yeah,
how
you
approach
sat down
people.
and you held me
My
with
hand.
my hand.
I didn't want to sit on her
So
lap.
I want to go back a second, right? I'm gonna go back a second and say, the only times my wife has stayed in somebody's house is if they knew the person.
Yeah,
Okay? If she didn't know the person,
That's weird.
she didn't.
yeah.
Okay? And if it takes two people to go spend the time with somebody that's a stranger, then make two.
And during that time, she could reach out, see if she has a friend.
Well, that's what,
that
going
will
back
help.
to your point, I wouldn't say, do you have any friends? I would
No!
say, who's,
Who's
how
your
would you
favorite
approach that?
person? Who's your favorite person?
Yeah, who's your favorite person? Do you have a
Or is there anybody we can contact?
There you go, is there
Yeah,
anybody
somebody
we can call?
Contact, I'm trying to figure out how best to,
Wording.
Is there
word
anybody
it.
we can call for you?
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
You don't ask about friends or you say, and then if
That's
there's a
right.
friend, there's a relative, then the person can leave and the friend or relative can come.
I might say, hey, I can hang with you tonight unless you have somebody else you'd rather hang with tonight. You know?
Remember one other thing. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad
I
you
didn't
brought
say
that
anything.
up. Males do not stay with
No,
females
no,
alone.
and I know that. I know that. I was trying to
I
just
know.
say that somebody in that role
You
would do
go.
that.
You
Somebody
stay
that-
tonight.
Somebody that would be in
Watch
that
what I'm
role,
saying.
you could do
I'm
that.
gonna tell you, and
I'm just
Kim
saying
can probably
that's
say
the
this,
way.
Teresa. Most of the people that come in and ask for help in here are already members, or they've heard that you guys help.
Yeah.
Somebody just ain't gonna walk off the street
Right.
and say, hey, okay? Usually it's members that come in and ask for help.
And that's why I was saying that we don't even have to do buddy checks, and I would figure that would be the first point of contact. Hey, I'd call you up and, hey, what's going on?
You
How's
should
it
have
going?
called me before I ended up coming in.
That's right.
Yep, yep.
I mean,
Oh,
really.
I know her husband passed, but the chaplain of the
If
unit
you
knows
guys,
that.
if you guys don't know, every Monday, I do buddy checks on Facebook. Every Monday, buddy check Monday. And the idea is you respond and you check on her. And she responds and she checks on somebody else. It's a domino effect. And eventually you're gonna get somebody out there that says, I'm having a bad day. Then we reach out and say, hey, what's going on? Maybe they just need somebody to talk to. Every Monday I do buddy checks. Sometimes I call the person. Sometimes I just do it on Facebook. Sometimes Mondays I'll be walking around and see somebody with a head, hey, thank you for your service. That's considered a buddy check.
Sometimes you think you have friends and then you find out you don't really.
you talking about me?
Yeah.
And then you feel so alone.
But I mean, we
Right.
have 1,000 members in Cape Coral, we
Right.
only see 200 maybe on
That's,
Friday,
that's
Saturday.
standard everywhere.
If you're lucky. So the buddy check system is great, okay, because it tells people that you care and you're out there and let you know what's their issues. Sometimes it needs somebody to talk to. You know, like I know, can I say something about your husband? He was in the hospital the other day. I checked on him, didn't I? That buddy check. If I hear that one of my friends is in the hospital, I'm gonna call and say, hey, how you doing?
He's
You
a
need something?
commander for 10 years, he had about 3 people check on him.
I was one, right? And I'm not
Not
committed to
even
that
our.
one. Okay? But I was willing to drive out there, wherever I gotta do, because they're my friends. Back to Soldier Street, I would never leave a fallen comrade behind. He's my comrade. You're my comrade now, even though you're Navy. Okay? But you're still my comrade. I'm not gonna leave you behind. Now, I'm not sure about the Trekkers yet, the Space Force, but they're still mine, okay?
Our writers group is very close like that.
Okay?
Yeah, the
So,
writers
but that's
are
what I
very
do.
good.
Our
Yeah.
writers
So-
are very close.
So what do we get out of this, right here?
Start writing.
Yeah, sorry. What do we get out of this part right here?
Watch your words,
Watch my words.
offer comfort, I'm giving you the.
What did we get out of
Make
it?
no
You're
promises.
that
Listen.
person.
Watch your words.
Do not promise. Don't promise me anything. 'cause
Yeah.
I don't know how many of the other posts do this, but I have a stack of these right at the register. I have a table in the back with a stack up on it. So people do take them. Most people do take them.
325 out of
All right. I mean, we can get her.
South of,
We're gonna write down,
Sarasota.
so when you first walked in, that's where we wanna
I feel
start.
better already.
That's where we wanna start, right, filling in, what do we do?
After
What
the
do we
heel
do?
of the kick,
Okay?
you're on 4.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that,
what she said was, I think,
Hey,
the
but that's
best.
benefit. What do you do?
Bad benefits?
You know,
We don't walk in.
whatever she said. I hear you,
That's
like,
Jeff.
yeah. And then Shelby come and sit next to me, and him coming and holding my hand. It just calming me down, because I can't accomplish anything till after I'm calmed down.
So the first one, assess the situation, offer the person a drink.
Yeah, that's it.
Assess the situation. All right, I need everybody's feedback, okay? This is a team effort. We need to know when she walked in, what are the steps that we took?
Calm her down.
Calm her down.
Calm her down.
become a friend.
You
Your
listen,
friend.
you
Become a
listen,
friend.
right? You listen.
We listen.
How about listen to become a friend?
Yeah.
Sounds good?
Yep.
Okay, next step, what do we do?
I think that, because I'm male, she's female, I would try to get a female friend in here.
Okay?
My wife.
Auxiliary, remember
or
the auxiliary member?
Call the auxiliary president. You know, but I also, I'm hoping that somebody else is there, because I don't want to lose my attention to Teresa. I don't want to say, be on my cell phone while I'm talking to Teresa, so I'm gonna say, hey, you
And
get
that's
hold
a
of the
problem
auxiliary
a lot of
president.
times, a female doesn't want to talk to a man. They
Then
want
that's
to
fine,
speak.
does.
but sometimes I'll let her tell me that.
Right.
I'll let her tell me that, and I'll bring somebody else, and maybe she'll
Offer a
redirect.
chaplain, offer a chaplain.
Thank
That was
you.
one of them. Offer a chaplain, offer a drink.
Anything to help relax.
And don't charge her for that drink.
How about this?
No, I was paying for it.
Would you like us
to start a tab for you, Derek?
I just told you I'm almost homeless,
Hey,
and now I gotta pay for my own
Yeah, I
drink.
wasn't gonna do that. And not only that, you know, when you start your tab.
Water's free.
I'm
Ask
gonna
anyone.
do it.
I'll have one right now.
That's true, right?
Make no promises.
Make no promises, that's a big one. Make no promises is a big
40
one.
years ago.
And what she
So
came
we
up
gotta
and
watch our
said,
We
language.
used to
I
hang
hear
out at
you,
Guard
I-
Bars, remember?
The most important thing, it's always, I hear you, I see you.
I see
We're gonna work this out together.
together,
I'm not gonna let you go.
and you're not gonna promise
Yeah,
anything.
don't promise anything, you're saying, I'm gonna stay.
Getting back to
Same
chaplain,
thing as an
you're
EMT,
gonna,
you
your
don't
presence,
promise anything.
when you use
I
those
gotta
words,
be
you're
all
being
right.
genuine.
I see her
Right.
on TV
Eye
all the
contact,
time,
engage.
shows. It's
And
like,
be
I
vulnerable
promise
with
I'll
it,
find you.
because if you told me,
No, you're not.
when I was ready, when I was in my suicidal stages, If somebody would have said that to me, I probably would have melted in their arms like a cookie, or like ice cream, and I would have been over it. But people, they don't understand. If, just by saying, I see you, I hear you, we're gonna work on this together. You're not alone.
Put a slash in there, and service officer.
Right, service officer, right?
Chaplain, service officer.
So that's the thing, is I don't know enough about this to say contact service officer.
Right. That's why we're doing this class.
Right now,
Chaplain and
I
service
just
officer first,
need
because we can
to know
determine
that somebody's
what
gonna be
the
there for.
issue is.
So if I talk to the
somebody comes
bartender,
up,
yeah.
we're able to explain to them what's going on.
I'm gonna say, Bev, call the service officer and call, she's gonna like, who are you talking about? What are you talking about?
That's the reason
I
why
don't
Larry
even know
needs
where
to
these
do
numbers
something.
are.
Somebody
Larry
can
needs
help.
to do this
Somebody
at
can
your,
help.
at your post.
Fit that way, somebody can help.
Because you're right, there's, the bartenders are up there all the time, and they're great people. And the lady that's, the people in the back in the kitchen, great people, you know. Donna would come out and help you do anything, so.
Right.
I
But
think
sometimes they're
this
so
is the-
busy, they can't.
This is the
Right.
training that we need to
Yeah.
have.
Sometimes the chaplain, or sometimes the bartenders are so busy, they just.
That's it right
can't do
there.
it.
If they're
So-
swamped,
if
they
they're
can't work,
trained-
Right.
get out there.
if they're trained to know to have someone come up.
They know to call
Right.
chaplain
Yeah.
or service officer.
They-
So in
Yeah.
fact, if she
Your
would've
post, they
heard,
know.
she would've heard what's going on, she could say, "Mr. President, can you help with this
Yeah,
situation?"
right off the bat. you
Right off
know,
the bat. You know what I'm saying?
They'll call the.
And then she
so
can
they'll
reach out,
call
listen to the situation, bring the chaplain
It
in.
doesn't really need to be a
It needs
president.
to be
Right,
that.
it could be anybody.
It needs to be that pyramid, right? You
Yeah.
start at the top and, or wherever it is, and
Yeah.
call this person.
If only the
and
first
let
place
them-
is there, or second
let
place
them
is there,
call
or
Anybody.
anybody, historian, it doesn't
That knows the
matter, as long as we
numbers.
got somebody sitting down with her for a little while, listening, find out what's going on, and in the meanwhile, we'll be contacting the service officer, okay? That's why I enjoy having a male service officer and a female service officer. That way, if we have a female that doesn't want to talk to a male, we can bring a female.
Yeah.
We have the same thing on our post, right, Larry?
Yeah.
2 males, female, and chaplains, 1 female, 1 male.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
just a bartender.
Your relationship with the chaplain is essential. My chaplain's ordained, and
I guess it-
there's
I
a
think it
sign
makes a
outside my
difference.
service office door that has the chaplain and my name and the
We've got that right behind the bar in 69, it's right on the wall. Phone number and name.
I think part of it too is, at what point did she come in? Did this just happen 2 days ago, or
Right.
was this a week ago?
Ask her.
Or I'm on
Go
the
back
way
to
home
what you
from
said about the
hospital.
trauma.
Yeah, or are you on your way? Yeah, I don't think you'd stop on your way to the hospital.
If you're that distraught and you don't have
Right.
family and friends around,
That's
yeah.
true, you might. Yeah, so I guess that's a big point too, is where in that,
Yeah, and that comes down to listen,
yeah.
ask questions, listen. There's a
Because
family
if
friend
it's
that
been,
contact.
if it's
Let 'em
been a
vet.
week and she
Let 'em
can't
vet.
figure out how to
Let
bury
them
her
vet.
husband or cremate,
Yeah.
you know, then you
Let them
need to,
tell you,
yeah.
that's big.
You're in
I
a
think that's
different
big.
frame of
Well,
mind
yeah,
than
in
you
that
are.
case, that's something that needs to be addressed right away.
Well, first, get you prioritize how you talk with them. And
Yeah.
one of the things is prioritize. When
Yeah.
you sit down with them, get them the drink,
That should be,
help calm them down, then start
Yeah.
going
Where
like
we at?
A, B, C,
Yeah.
D, and working
Where
the
we at?
steps.
This is where we
you
need
help her fill out a little more steps. We don't want to do 100 steps, we just 4.
That's right. That'll be good.
Can you give me font figure?
Sorry. Still waiting for me to do it.
Krista, we need a tequila. Go get a lemonade.
You know me, huh? And one day see that way.
I want everybody, hey, I want to have everybody look at the screen. If you have something you want to add, please, okay? Because this is a team effort. Okay. We're going through the steps.
These 80-year-old guys, they don't see that.
You can move up, you can move up.
So
So if we get them down, tell things they can do, here's the combination, that's why we got that. Then once they get there, my car starts to go down, it's just like, okay, I've down, this guy, these guys are getting all the stuff I need. Now they come back down and they start to get a little bit more rational, and that's when a family member or a friend or something can come in and take that over.
Yeah.
Until then, you gotta get that situation worked out.
I know. There was one thing that a gentleman said, and it almost triggered me in here. When you were saying, you know, we're gonna get your financials and working out, you gotta realize for the past 20 years, we've had a lot of economy stuff, and a lot of people have been struggling because of their credit, and it might make them act worse, because I do know that the lower, like the poverty level, when it comes to money and finance, they have a subconscious barrier about money, and they create more helplessness behind it.
That's why a service officer can tell them, these are the things that we can do for you. He knows where you can get funds, he knows all of that. So that's why my thing is always the chaplain first, bring them down, service officer takes them from there, then friend or family, and now you got the person where they need to be.
And then
You guys hear that?
Yeah.
Pastor Pete, what did you just say? Okay. Just listen up, please.
The critical thing, this is the sequence it should follow. You get the chaplain, we bring them down. You get the service officer, they tell them, we can get burial funds, we can get this fund, we can do that, we can do this. Once they're at that state, they're calm, now they feel confident things are gonna be okay. Now you get a friend or an auxiliary member or a family member to take them the rest of the way. And that's when the chaplain can come back away if they want you to, or still stay there. But he's gonna be there until all these things are done. So anytime they get nervous, he's gonna go, we got this covered, we got this covered, we got this covered. It gives them a sense of security, and it gives them the ability to believe that everything is fine.
And if the person
with the tequila. No.
if the person doesn't want a chaplain, okay, whoever that person that person that's helping her can act like a chaplain, not a chaplain. Be a battle buddy. Okay?
And the biggest thing too, a lot of chaplains are denominational, okay? And some of them that are denominational for 20 years, they truly feel that their religion is the main one. And that's bad. Because if it's a different religion, you got a problem. So the thing is, I give more communion to Catholics than priests do, because Catholic priests are so short right now. Okay? Chaplains, non-denominational, we can talk to everybody. Okay? So you tell them, our chaplain is non-denominational. He can talk to you about any religion, or like the young lady behind bar said, if they're atheists, we won't talk about religion. We'll talk about how do you feel? What can we do? And that way you can get them to where they need to be. Once they're a little calmer, then he can throw his stuff in and say, don't worry about this. We got this, we got this, we got it all covered. And then at that point, they're feeling a little bit more stabilized, right? Because you're not asking them, you have enough money to bury him? Yeah. No, we got ways to deal with this, don't worry, we'll take care of this. And Larry's got it all down. And that way your service officer can truly step in and get your calmness about finances and payments and this and the mortgage and the funerals and all that stuff. And she can tell you, chaplains can go and do everything with you. Okay, we lost 2 members escorting the flyer from the World War II, and I was with them, Larry was with them. We actually went to the funeral home, set up a funeral, I did. When they brought the bodies from the different county, I knew the funeral director, talked to them. When the bodies came there, the 2 sons, who were adults from Connecticut, and myself were there when the bodies came in, and I blessed them, and they got a chance to just grieve right there. During the funeral and the services, same thing. I was there, we were there. The chaplains can do a lot. Okay, and going back to this, you'd be surprised when you walk in a place with this on, you know what they say? What can we do for you? I owe one of my friends a chaplain, right? Pastor, dressed in jeans and a t-shirt. He got thrown out of a hospital one time. They didn't believe he was a pastor. I walk in with this, it's like, what can we do for you? What do you need? How can we help you? I'm just traditional, I'm old. I'm almost 69. So I've been around for a while, and to me, I'm old school. But as long as you get that sequence, that's gonna help. Chaplain, service officer, friend, colleague, relative. And now you got them down where they're gonna be okay. If they still can't calm down, then you may have to try to see if there's the veterans type of thing for the psychologist or whatever you got.
That's a good point. I was just gonna ask that. So, Teresa's having a really bad day. You can see she's actually in some kind of physical distress.
Yeah.
Hey, Teresa, can I call the EMTs for you?
There you go.
No.
Would you, well, maybe you say yes.
No.
Maybe you, so just.
I don't know
Teresa's-
any way whatsoever that I would have worked for
That's the
that.
question.
No.
Teresa's gonna say, call the bartender.
No, and I understand that part of it. And you said, and she says yes. And then they get there and they say she does have a physical problem. Can we ride with them in the
Quick
ambulance?
story again, quick story.
It's up to the
ICU,
ambulance.
ICU, I get called all the time,
Yeah.
all right? You know his wife passed away. God bless her.
Hey, Nick, no.
I saw his wife 2 weeks before she died.
Unless my phone is sticking out.
I saw his wife 2 weeks before she died, in a nursing home. Fine as can be. We're talking about the birds outside our window. 2 weeks later, 7:30 in the morning, get to the ICU right now. Who is it? Are you serious? Boom, I get there. She's pretty much gone. He sees me, grabs me, he's crying and everything else, right? She wasn't gonna make it. All 3 doctors said the same thing. He was hesitant to pull the plug. The daughter was on the phone saying, you think they can keep her alive until I get there? I said, not unless you got an F-16 going Mach 3. Okay, still you're probably gonna make it. I had her take the phone, put it by her mother's ear. She said what she had to say to her. Boom. Doctors, I talked to them again. I went to him. He wouldn't agree with them. I spoke to him and I told him everything the doctor said. He then agreed. Hospice was brought in like this. Boom. Doctors walked up to me when I was done and said, we are so glad when you people get here. Because they won't listen to us, but when we tell you what's going on, and you talk to them, they listen. So what you do is the chaplain works with the EMT or the paramedic. Okay, and you work together. That's the key. And Larry stresses this all the time. Teamwork. 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 Everybody picks up a different part to make sure that the person who we're focusing on as one of our brothers or sisters gets what they need. That's the key.
That's the important part.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
So, do me a favor. When you go back to your post, take this one page, page number 7. Make copies. Give it to your auxiliary members. Please. It will make life so much easier when something does happen, when they already have all this stuff gathered up prior to the passage. Trust me, when they come to us, we don't have to order DD 214. She's already got it. Ain't got to do this, ain't got to do that. Already got everything gathered up.
Right.
Okay? Make life easy for your family, please. All right? Please. Also, going back to kind of what Pastor Pete, was it last year or 2 years ago, Pastor Pete, that we lost those 2 members? 2 years ago, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, we escorted MIA, World War II MIA that came back, remains. We escorted them. 2 of our riders came back, and a vehicle decided to pass and ran right into the motorcycle. Killed both our members instantly, the Legion and auxiliary member. He got the call, I got the call. We were going deep into that. Okay? So please, make sure they get a copy of at least page 7.
And that was at the end of when we were doing the burial for the water that was found. So we had been inundated with that. And when we were bringing the body or the people down, 2 of our members got killed. So right from one major thing, the same day to the next major thing.
Yep.
And we still were able to handle it.
So page 7 is what do you do? What do you before a veteran dies? Okay? Page 7. Please make copies of that. All you auxiliary members. Okay? Anybody else have any more feedback on this?
Then we'll go into the veteran.
Okay,
All
we're going
right.
to take a few minute break. Everybody use the bathroom.
Thank you, everyone.
Great job. Great job.
You feel better now?
I do.
So thankfully, that's a
Here's
good
the
one.
tequila.
She got that.
Yeah.